Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. There are 66 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan, including 4 in the Northwest Zone. That includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. There are 25 new cases in Saskatoon. They are primarily connected to bars and nightclubs in the city. 398 cases are considered active, 14 of those in our area. The gospel worship event in Prince Albert has been connected to 86 cases in 17 different communities. 18 people are in hospital, 2 of those in intensive care. 10 more people have recovered. Now that the weather is getting colder, a few community organizations are offering more programs and looking for donations. We spoke with the Olive Tree on what they're doing. COVID-19 has presented difficulties to the programs the Olive Tree can provide to the community, but now they are starting to get back to old routines.
We have our community meals that still happen Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which they are picking back up again because we had to adjust things for a while. They were only takeout meals, so now we have more people coming in, and with the weather getting colder, I'm sure that there will be more people that want to come inside, not have takeout meals. So we have that one.
They are also currently looking for donations to help with the meals and places they supply.
We can always use canned fruits, canned meats. Cereals are a big one because we have over 30 different places that we send food. So we're always accepting donations, especially with it being colder.
The Olive Tree has also started up their seniors program once again for Friday lunches, where they are trying to help bring people together during this difficult time.
It's just so nice that we can start doing them again. It's like back to normal, our new normal, as most people say. But it's really great because I think a large part of COVID lockdowns that they do talk about, but maybe not as much as the loneliness or the separation. So I know for our moms group, we have a lot of women who will come in, and it's just that ability to get out, be away from your kids, but form connections. So if you need help outside of the moms group, there's always people to lean on.
If you are looking to donate to the Olive Tree, a list of what they are in need of is available on their Facebook page. It is time now for this week's retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in retrospect. Back in 1995, scientists study parasites in cow patties.
Both Canada and the U.S. are involved with extensive research on how to control horn, stable, and face flies, which pose problems for livestock producers.
It's estimated that in northeastern Alberta alone, the loss from horn flies is $4 million annually. So what's happening in the States and in other countries is and increasingly we're seeing more pressure being put on the livestock industry not to use insecticides for parasite control and for, control of insects in livestock production. So they've been looking at alternatives for parasite control, and dung beetles and other beetles in dung, other insects in dung, including parasitic wasps and predator beetles, feed on the eggs and the larvae of the horn fly and the face fly and the stable fly.
And in 2000, local mayor candidates field questions at a town hall forum.
The All Candidates Forum gave civic election candidates a chance to introduce themselves. It was also an opportunity for residents to ask some tough questions.
How much are you left with to spend at the end of the year? We never hear these figures.
349 voted against the border markers, 1 was in favor. And then the border markers were put up. Is that the type of public opinion and public support that we're to expect from the City Council?
Most in attendance wanted to hear what the mayoral candidates had to say.
Well, I think the issues of one of them is the arena. I think the issue of the railway underpass. I think the traffic situation generally is one of concern.
There was things like the concerns with the underpass and the railway problems. We certainly have to deal with that as soon as possible, but we also need the bucks to build an underpass.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermillion.
Welcome back. The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation is reminding drivers to keep an sharp eye out for wildlife. Autumn is breeding season for moose and deer species. That means more animals roaming, looking for mates, and an increased risk for drivers. Officials remind motorists to be extra vigilant, especially in the area of wildlife crowing signs.
They are more active and less cautious than they normally would be. So during this time of year, you're going to see an increase in collisions.
Last year, there were almost 17,000 collisions between vehicle and wildlife, causing 350 injuries and 1 death. Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. The MLB's National League Championship Series wrapped up, sending the LA Dodgers to the World Series versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Evan Kenny and Eric Bay have more ahead of Tuesday night's first pitch.
Well, this past weekend, both the LA Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays advanced to the World Series. Joining me to break this down is Eric Bay. Eric, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, looks like a pretty interesting World Series here. Finally, the end of the regular season, going to be exciting.
Yeah, now for the Rays, they are looking for their first World Series title ever. The last time that they were in the World Series was 2008 versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Eric, how do you like their chances just looking at the team heading into this series?
I mean, I think they have as good a chance as anybody. They were the best team in the AL coming in. I think the big thing, though, for them is their pitching will have to step up and be on point throughout the entire series, and that's from the starters all the way to the relievers, and that's just based on the fact that their offense really hasn't been up to par. Obviously, Randy Arozarena has been incredible and well-deserving of the ALCS MVP, but guys like Brandon Lau, Austin Meadows, they haven't really been able to come up in the big moments, and so for the Rays to have a chance, their pitching is going to have to limit that offense of the Dodgers, especially when you look at what the Dodgers were able to do, especially against the Braves here in this championship series.
Yeah, and if we look at Tampa Bay, you mentioned it, that they have that long bomb working for them. Right now, they're leading all teams in playoffs in home runs. However, I think that they need to get more offense going in more ways than just the home run. Now, the Dodgers have barely allowed any home runs over these playoffs, so that's the reasoning why I think they really need to get going in other ways. You mentioned a couple guys there. Lau really needs to get going. He was actually one of your early picks for regular season MVP. He needs to get back to that caliber for this team to really start pushing it. Now, if we look at the LA Dodgers, their offense just seems to be going almost like it's no problem. If you look after Game 4 against Atlanta Braves in their NLCS, where they lost, giving up 7 runs, A, they've locked it down defensively, but B, they have continued to keep those bats going, so this will be a dangerous team to look for. Now, Eric, I guess we just went over the Rays a little bit there. Now, what are your thoughts on the Dodgers? Just give a little more of a breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really just have to keep doing what they're doing. You look at their offense, and as you mentioned, they do have the ability to hit the long ball, but I think the real key here, is the fact that the playoffs are obviously very tight pitching-wise, so you have to be able to play that small ball, hit a couple of singles, maybe the odd double, and get those runs in, and that's what the Dodgers were able to do, especially in last night's Game 7. When you look at, they were down 2-0, and they got those 4 runners on base after 2 outs, and that's really what they're going to have to keep doing. And from the other side there, that's what the Rays are going to have to eliminate in their pitching side. I guess if there's one thing to maybe worry or have concern about for the Dodgers, it's that some of their relievers have struggled at times these playoffs. Kenley Jansen has come on very well now, but earlier he was struggling. And if you look at Game 7, Tony Gonsolin had some problems there too. So I guess just being nitpicky, that's what you'd have to watch for as a Dodgers fan. They do look pretty primed and ready to take their first World Series since the 80s.
Now, Eric, you mentioned it, just talking about runs being scored and producing that offense. Well, what about one guy in their last series versus the Atlanta Braves, and that being Corey Seager? How big will he be if he can continue this run into the World Series?
Oh, for sure. He'll be huge. But I think really if you're looking between him and Arozarena is really the guy who's going to have to keep doing it, because the Dodgers have obviously Bellinger. Kike Hernandez is always big in those big moments. So they didn't even need Seager in Game 7. He went 0 for 5. So really it'll be important. But I think the Dodgers up and down that lineup 1 through 9 have guys who are going to step up no matter what. So we could totally see a completely different MVP in the World Series if the Dodgers do win.
Now, Eric, quickly here, just give us your MVP of the World Series as well as your World Series winner.
I think I have to go Mookie Betts. That's a tough one, but his bat is starting to pick up and his defense has been lights out. So really he's been able to change the game from a defensive perspective. And again, as we've said all season long, tough to pick against the Dodgers. So I think Dodgers in 6 or 7. I think it'll be close and down to the wire, but I think the Dodgers finally squeak it out.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against Mookie Betts, especially when you look at what he can do. He can really do it all, whether it's on, fielding purposes or with the bat, like you mentioned. I'm personally hoping for somebody like maybe Max Muncy to really start picking it up as, another guy who can really swing the bat and hit that long bomb for the Dodgers there. And as well, I have the Dodgers winning. I'm thinking it'll go 6 games, maybe 7 if the Tampa Bay Rays really push it that far.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking at temperatures right now, still sitting at -4 right now with some cloud coverage in our area, and that's the result we see in a lot of areas here in the Lakeland region. -4 out in Edmonton right now, along with Edson, Whitecourt, and Rocky Mountain House. We see a +2 in Jasper right now. A little bit warmer out there, but with that wind chill, it may not feel as warm. -2 in Athabasca currently right now as we move over into Saskatchewan. We see -3s in North Battleford, Prince Albert, and in Melfort as well. -2 in Saskatoon with -4 also in Meadow Lake and Cold Lake as well. Now, as we look up north right now, they've of course had some colder temperatures in the past last week, where we saw a little bit more colder than us here, but -3 in Loloche and Buffalo Narrows, -2 in La Ronge and South End, and then we see most of that in the Stony Rapids, Wollaston Lake area. -1 currently right now with Flin Flon, and then we look over into northern Alberta, -5 right now for Peace River, and then -4 right now for Grand Prairie. -3 in Slave Lake and Fort McMurray, with -2s in Fort Chipewyan and in High Level. Now, as we look into southern Alberta right now, we see -3 degrees in Lethbridge with 1 degree out in Medicine Hat, -4 in Calgary, -3 in Coronation, and then 1 degree right now in Banff. Of course, southern Alberta was the victim of some winter conditions over the past couple of days. They did see some snow in some areas there, with -3 right now in Kindersley, -7 right now in Swift Current, so fairly chilly out there. -2 in both Regina and Moose Jaw and Estevan, and then -1 right now in Yorkton. Now, as we look across the rest of the country right now, we did mention -2 in Regina. Seeing some sunshine right now. A little bit of snow coming in Winnipeg right now with 2 degrees. 10 in Quebec City with some showers right now. 8 degrees in Toronto. A little bit warmer in the Maritimes right now with 10 degrees, and 13 in Halifax and 10 in St. John. We also see up north Yellowknife at -2 and Whitehorse at -4, along with Edmonton, and -4, some cloud coverage there. And then we see Vancouver right now with some clouds and 12 degrees as the daytime high. Now, of course, I did mention in the last weather segment we are possibly going to see some snow coming our way, and that is a possibility overnight tonight. Up to 2 centimeters is what we are expecting, but it could be, if it's not the 2 centimeters, it'll be more so just up towards 1 centimeter. But of course, it's going to make its way into the later parts of the evening. Around that 7 to 8 o'clock range is where we should expect some of that snow according to the radar maps. Now, Now, as we look at temperatures for tomorrow, though, we look at -1 to start as our daytime high. We could have that a little bit colder with the wind chill, feel more like -11. We see zeros in Vermillion, Wainwright, and Provost, as well as -1s in St. Paul, Bonnyville, and in Marwayne. So here's a look at the next 7 days. -1 on Wednesday as well, -4 for Thursday. We get into Friday again. Cold temperatures are going to be the same. It's going to be this trend for the next little bit here. -5 for Friday, -4 on Saturday, as well as on Sunday, where we could see some more flurries come our way there. -2 on Monday, and we're going to have fairly cold mornings there, especially on that Sunday, where we see -14 to start the day off. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
I'm joined today with Kaylee Schmidt. She is the recruitment and enrollment supervisor for Lakeland College. Kaylee, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So today we're talking about virtual open house, and the sessions are going to be taking place Friday, October 23rd, and also on the 24th. Can you just take me through what's it going to be like?
Thanks, Jace. So we're super excited about our virtual open house event. Traditionally, open house has been a way to welcome prospective students and their families on campus to learn more about Lakeland College's programs and how they can take their studies beyond the classroom. Of course, this year, you can experience our virtual open house from the comfort of your own home.
So how will people be able to access these sessions, and what is it going to be like for the people who are taking part in the event?
Yeah, so virtual open house will be Friday, October 23rd and Saturday, October 24th, as you had mentioned. Our activities will be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We've really created a fun virtual open house. No matter which program you're interested in, there's something for you. So there will be interactive virtual meetings that students can learn more about particular programs that they're interested in. They can meet our faculty and current students, ask their questions, take virtual tours, and learn more about our student support services.
And obviously this is a big undertaking to move an entire open house virtually. Obviously Lakeland has had to move a lot of classes virtually as well, but just how difficult was this to set up and arrange?
Kudos to all of our academic departments. They really stepped up and they got creative with live webinars, videos, just a way to best showcase their programs, but also make it interactive for the students attending. So you're not just sitting there for an hour listening, making it really interactive, whether that be some activities that they're doing to get the students involved. So kudos to all of our departments who have really, and Lakeland, who have really stepped up to make this virtual event a possibility.
So obviously for an open house, people are able to tour the campus, go around and kind of go at their own pace or do what they want to do. How will things look for a virtual open house? What will be the differences between a physical and in-person open house experience?
So like I said before, you'll get to join from the comfort of your own home. And during open house, if you go to lakelandcollege.ca/open house, that is the main webpage where you'll find like the schedule of events, when sessions are, and all the information. So it's at lakelandcollege.ca/open house, and then you can join right into the meetings, into the webinars, watch the videos and stuff right on there. We also waive our $90 application fee during open house. So if you attend our sessions and the program sparks your interest and you want to apply to that program, you can actually apply for free all day Friday and all day Saturday. So we waive that $90 application fee. And when you're on Apply Alberta applying, you'll find the promo code to waive the fee on our open house website page.
Is Lakeland optimistic that you're possibly going to have more people take part because you don't have to be physically at the campus?
Exactly. With a virtual event, anybody can join from anywhere. Normally at our open house, we have families that travel from all over Alberta, Saskatchewan, some even come from as far as Ontario, and they kind of make a weekend trip out of it. And of course, being an end of October, sometimes we're battling snowstorms and stuff like that. So yeah, with the virtual event, anybody can attend from anywhere and they can learn learn more about our programs, take virtual tours, chat with current students, and just learn more about a program that they are possibly interested in.
And before we end our chat today, is there anything else that you'd like to add that maybe we didn't get to touch on yet?
So if you are interested in attending open house, you can RSVP again at lakelandcollege.ca/open house. And as I had mentioned before, you can RSVP and then we'll send you the information prior to the event. And on that website is where you'll find all the information like the schedules. When you want to attend your sessions, you can click on a tile specific to the program that you're wanting to attend.
All right, well, that's great. And hopefully there's a lot of people that are taking part in the open house happening on Friday and Saturday coming up this week.
Thanks so much for having us, Chase.
I'm speaking with Tigra Lee Campbell and Brad Gallimore with the Vermillion Unites for Equality. How are you both today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. I wanted to ask, with the community discussion that happened in Lloydminster recently, how have things changed with the support shown at the event and any accomplishments after it?
We have great support on our, we have a great Facebook following, and we have united with other groups across Alberta. So we are definitely moving up in the world here. Things have been going along really well.
And can you explain more on what the Pollinator Gardens was that happened yesterday?
So yesterday we had a food bank drive and we did fundraising for Hearts and Hands. Yeah, the Pollinator Gardens is usually where we have our roundtable meetings, but since it's so accessible to everyone in Vermillion, we decided to host it there. We had a really good turnout. We had lots of people come down and drop off winter clothing and cereal and snacks. And yeah, we had a really good turnout.
And what items is the Vermillion Food Bank looking for at the moment for residents?
Right now, they're looking for snacks and cereal, so that's what we were told. I'm sure that they will always accept any non-perishable food item. And Hearts and Hands was really looking for winter gear for everyone, women, children, and men, hats and gloves, and socks, preferably new.
And how can residents help support this other than donations, of course?
They can support by either donating right to the food bank themselves. They can, if they have any questions, they can email us at vermillionunitesforequality@gmail.com, or they can join our Facebook group, which is Vermillion Unites for Equality.
And is there anything else you want to add for Vermillion Unites for Equality that's coming up?
Yes, on October 25th, we have a book discussion. We will be talking about 21 things you may not know about the Indian Act. And also on November 8th, we are having our first episode of Cooking with Cultures. It's a new monthly series that we're doing. We have a different guest each month. They will be cooking a dish from their culture, and we can follow along and cook with them.
And is there anything else you want to add for residents to know about?
Yeah, so this coming week on Saturday, there will be a march in Calgary from City Hall to, I believe it's called the Reconciliation Bridge, in honor and solidarity of the Micmac fishermen who are facing absolutely terrible situations in Nova Scotia right now. And as well, on November 21st, we will be doing another food bank drive and winter clothing drive, and that will be happening actually across Alberta. So Lloydminster, Vermillion, Red Deer, Calgary, and Edmonton, and hopefully some other small towns we can get into. I believe Lacombe and Wetaskiwin are on board as well. And that's kind of like a solidarity across Alberta, showing our unity and doing something for those who maybe can't get a winter jacket as easily as the rest of us.
And when is this going to be, you were saying?
So this is November 21st. Times might vary based on each city, but we'll probably do ours from 12 to 4 again, like we did on Sunday here. And also in Calgary this weekend, there will be a solidarity march for the Micmac fishermen who are facing absolute terrible situations right now in Nova Scotia. And that'll be happening at City Hall at 1 o'clock, marching to the Reconciliation Bridge, I believe it's called.
And has there been lots of support shown so far when it comes to the food bank?
Absolutely. People were showing up in droves to just drop off whatever they could. You could tell some people just kind of went to the store, grabbed what they saw, and brought it to us because they were like, hey, that's a pretty good cause.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. Cold temperatures for the next couple of days here. -1s on Tuesday, Wednesday. That wind chill could feel a little bit more like -10. -4 on Thursday with -5 on Friday. We'll have some fairly colder mornings on those, starting on Thursday with -11 the low there, and then -12 for Friday. -11 the low on Saturday with -4 the high, and then -4 on Sunday again, but with a chance we could see, 35% chance of some flurries there, and then -2 on Monday with a low there of 13. There is possibility we could get some snow tonight in the later parts of the evening, like I mentioned, around that 7 to 8 o'clock range. We are expecting a little bit of flurries overnight heading into tomorrow with more sun expected than we saw today.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.